In this episode, we discuss our favorite places to go for Mexican food. If you love Mexican food, then you'll love this episode of the Los Angeles Podcast. Hello, I'm Joe Copeland, a lifetime resident of the city of Los Angeles and a man who loves his menudos on Sunday.
Hello, my name is Jay Guzman, also a lifelong resident of the LA area and also an aspiring actor.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to episode 2 of the Los Angeles Podcast. And in this episode, Jay and we're going to discuss something near and dear to our hearts and stomachs, and that is food. And in particular, since Los Angeles was once a former Spanish colony, we've got quite a tradition of Mexican food throughout our community. So we thought we'd share with you guys some of our favorite places to go out and eat.
Yes, and by no means are we asserting that this is the authority list to go by, but it is definitely a reflection of the taste and the favorite locations we prefer to visit.
So when you got the hankering, when you're jonesing for Mexican food.
It's every 2 hours for me, honestly. I've got a main line of refried beans going into my arm constantly.
You know, when you're thinking of a good place to go for Mexican food, what's the first place that comes to your mind?
It always happens to me on Saturdays and Sundays. I just instinctively know that it's weekends, and weekends mean menudo. And I go out of my way to find myself some good menudo. There's a few places I like. Just all depends whether or not I'm stuck at work or if I'm free to chase whatever place I like to go.
All right. Well, let me tell you one of the first places I think about when I want to have Mexican food, and that is a place called Dos Arbolitos. It's located in the area of Granada Hills, I believe it is, off of Nordhoff and Plummer, is it? No.
It could be Woodley.
Yeah, I think it is Woodley, yeah. Now, this place I've actually been going for 25 years. They used to be a little taco shack, essentially, right next to a car wash. So while you were getting your car wash, you'd go and grab some food. But they were so good that when the car wash actually closed down, they moved to a new location and got themselves a real restaurant. And one thing that's special about this place is it's Mexican food from southern Mexico. It's not your normal type of Mexican food. The food is very flavorful with spices. The salsa has a roasted garlic and savory chilies. Great place, delicious beans and rice and all sorts of food. Dos Arbolitos, a couple twins own the place. You think this one guy's working there day and night, but it's actually his brother. They take turns running the place.
That's funny. It's not me, it's my evil twin today. No, that's the measure of a good Mexican restaurant. If you pay attention to the beans and the rice on whatever combination plate or whatever thing you've ordered, if the beans exceed your expectations, that's a healthy sign that it's a quality restaurant with really amazing food.
Yes, and it's that big brick of lard that make the beans taste really good.
It's also the same lard I sweat out of my forehead some mornings.
So, Dos Arbolitos, you've been there.
I have. I really do like their menudo there as well. I've also had their chile rellenos. I remember that was a savory surprise I really liked. For some reason, I didn't feel like eating meat that day, and chile rellenos really caught my eye. And the cheese and the chili that they used was amazing, just really memorable.
Okay, your turn, Jay. What's one that stands out?
Oh, one of my all-time favorites is this family-owned restaurant. They have 4 locations, but the place I really gravitate towards are Melody's Restaurant, and they're also located on Reseda Boulevard. And
next to a car wash, right?
Also next to a car wash. And now it's a car wash and get your oil changed. There's an oil change joint, too. You bring in the restaurant coupon or receipt, they'll give you like 10% off. Yeah, Melody's has really incredible food, beautiful presentation. That's one of the things that escalates them above most other restaurants. The plates, the way they, garnish them with any variety of cut greens or tomatoes or whatever, just makes it look like a delightful dish. I mean, it's a psychological game. When you look at a plate and it looks beautifully prepared and care has been taken into the presentation, it increases your anticipation to eat into that particular plate.
Yes, I've been there myself with you several times, and it's definitely a go-to place when you want some good Mexican food.
Can I chime in with one more detail?
Absolutely.
One of the wonderful things that they do have is an outdoor little patio to eat out of. And on a spring or summer day, especially if you go in the mornings, what a great spot to be at. You can observe the intersection traffic and the RTD buses picking and dropping people off. So it's kind of cool. You don't get that at most typical Michelin star restaurants.
And when your car is ready for pickup.
Yeah, they just give you a 2-honk warning and it's time to wrap it up.
All right. Okay, so I'll throw one in. Well, obviously, if you want good Mexican food, you want to go to a Mexican neighborhood or predominantly Mexican, and that is on the east side of LA, area that is affectionately known as East LA or Boyle Heights. Mm-hmm. So one place I really like is on Cesar Chavez. There's a little stretch there where it kind of has a old town Mexican feel, and the place is called El Tapatio. And the reason I remember the name is like that little red bottle of vinegary hot sauce, El Tapatio. It's real authentic food. I'd say probably everyone working in the kitchen is fresh off the border.
They bring
just crossed.
Yeah, they bring the authentic to the place.
Absolutely, they do. So I will have to say one time, though, I did get food poisoning over there. That's how authentic it was. And I didn't go back for a year, even though it was my favorite place in Boyle Heights. And after a year, I was just craving to go back there, and I haven't had food poisoning since.
Well, you drove by and you saw the B on the window, so B means bueno. Come on in. I can't blame you for going back. You're a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, but I did okay. Great food. I, just savory beans, savory chicken soups. Yeah. And it's a kind of a place that everyone in the neighborhood goes to, whether you're a, working class guy or a retired old Los Angelino on Social Security, just walking through the neighborhood, just hanging out there, talking with the waitresses. Good place. I highly recommend El Tapatio. They're on Cesar Chavez in the Boyle Heights area.
Yeah, that reminds me of another place out close to that, also on Cesar Chavez. It's this wonderful, authentic place also called Zamora Brothers. It's in a residential community, so it's surprisingly located in an odd place. But you walk in and the service is amazing, and it's small, but they do have an outside patio for eating. The variety of food that they make fresh every day is impressive. They have everything from carnitas, carne asada, chile rellenos, and of course, menudo. Also pozole. I have this favorite combination there that I have is whatever I order, I always eat that along with some tortillas and some queso fresco, a little, cheese on a corn tortilla and salsa to go along with whatever plate is a magical combination in my mind. And, highly recommended experience if you're in that part of town.
I've never been there, but there's something Jay knows. It's good Mexican food. So if he recommends, what's the name of that place again?
It's called Zamora Brothers.
Zamora Brothers.
Yeah.
All right. And where's it located?
It's just off of Cesar Chavez, near Mission.
Okay.
Exit on the 101.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in that vicinity. If they Google Zamora Brothers, I'm sure they'll find it.
I've probably been there. I actually went on this kick many years ago where I wanted to eat at every Mexican restaurant in Boyle Heights. And yes. I think I hit a good 95% of them. I just don't remember the names. And I tended to gravitate towards the places that I ended up liking the best. Mm-hmm. But, okay, cool. That's a great recommendation. Well, since we are in that neighborhood in Boyle Heights, I got to make a mention to an iconic Mexican restaurant called El Tepeyac. anytime people talk about eating in Boyle Heights, they say, oh, you got to go to El Tepeyac. And you'll hear that so many times, you'll finally decide, I got to go there.
I know.
It's not easy to find because it's actually somebody's house.
It's in a residential area again.
You literally get served. I mean, the kitchen is literally a kitchen of a 3-bedroom home, yes. Right? And you got grandma and grandpa and, their friends and grandkids all working in the kitchen. It's surprisingly packed. Okay, and I haven't been to this place in probably 15 years, to tell you the truth, but I'm sure they're just as packed today as they were back then.
Yeah.
Everybody in the neighborhood loves going over there. I think you mentioned they were across the street from a Catholic church.
Yes. And that's a busy church. They're always cranking out services. So, yeah, you're in competition with churchgoers that are starving and random tourists. Every time I've been there, I end up chit-chatting or eavesdropping on people, and they'll confess that they've driven from Long Beach or from the Bay Area or any number of places around California just to eat there. It's that iconic.
Yeah, I mean, the service there is really good. The owner, him and his wife, just walk around the restaurant. What's that?
They died.
Oh,
it's been a little bit since.
Okay, it's been 15 years since I've been there.
But that is true. People talk about the memory of the owner. He'd walk around with his little bottle and he'd serve you a little drink. I was going to say that. Yeah, he would pass around shots for breakfast for all the people there that are grubbing up before their work as whatever they do, whether they're a bus driver or a construction worker or city worker or whatever. Yeah, he was a jolly man who was always just happy to express his gratitude for people coming to visit him.
Yeah, definitely had a booming business, and definitely if you're that involved in your business and care for your patrons, well, should be no surprise that you'd be super successful, even if you're serving out of the bedrooms of your home.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I had my bar mitzvah and we went there for me finally being a man, I was served this burrito that was the length of my fingers to my elbow on this platter that looked like a tray from another restaurant that they had. And they just dump a bunch of meat in there and sauce and beans. They get a big tortilla and they just stuff it around the perimeter so it almost looks like a burrito, but it's really just a whole lot of food. And they had this promotion, like, if you can finish this in an hour, your burrito is free. And I tried, but
that's one thing El Tepeyac seems to be known for, is having very big portions. So that might be one of the reasons why they're so popular. If you're a working class guy in a working class neighborhood and you need some calories to dig ditches and do construction work, then that might be the go-to place to get your calories. El Tepeyac in Boyle Heights.
Yeah,
definitely worth checking out once just to say you've been there.
Yeah, it's a must. One thing to take notice of, if you're standing outside of the place, there's a power pole just adjacent to the door. And if you look up at the transformer, somebody has taken a photograph of the owner, who's now deceased, and taped it up on the transformer's belly.
Oh,
so
really?
You can see it.
Okay.
He's almost looking down with a nice smile, wishing you a good meal.
That's nice. I hope to be so recognized when I, pass away, to have my face on a transformer.
I have your face tattooed on my back still, so everyone's always going to remember you.
All right.
I have another place to recommend. It's also in the Valley, and it's another amazing small little restaurant that's very clean. It's called Señor Sol, and it's also on Reseda, just north of Nordhoff Street. And boy, does this place pack an amazing menu. It's really adorable. It also has a small little front patio, and the food is surprisingly incredibly delicious. Affordable as well. That's another quality about this place, that every time I've gone there, you can get a real quality meal for about $12. And the service is great. Everybody that's working there is eager and young, and it's also right next to CSUN, the Valley College here. So that's one of the tenets, is that there's always a lot of young people eating it up. And so obviously they're just whipping food out constantly, so it's fresh and amazing quality.
Yeah, I know you've taken me there a couple times, and one thing I was very impressed with was their salsa bar.
Yeah.
The salsas are absolutely full of flavor and delicious.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I've got probably some place that you hear a lot about as being an iconic place for tacos, and that's over in Culver City. If you ever say, yeah, I got to go to Culver City for some reason, someone will invariably say, oh, you got to stop by Titos Tacos, right? I heard that so many times, I thought I'd go and check it out.
Yep.
And I was quite disappointed.
Yeah.
And, there's a line. No, that's not one line. There's like 6 lines, okay?
It's confusing. They have so many windows, and you're like, well, is it one line or is it, each man for themselves at any random window?
Yeah, and I can only describe it as, old school fast food, like from the 70s, standing out before Jack in the Box had indoor dining, just kind of throwing your chips and tacos in a little box.
Yeah, it's
and
a
saying,
pretty
here you
basic
go.
arrangement.
Yeah.
It would almost be like a dry taco shell, like the kind you would buy at a store if you were going to have Tuesday night tacos at your house. And a lot of cheese. I just remember that they would drown you with cheese, but
I got the sense that the owner Tito really wasn't Mexican.
I know.
No more than the owner of Taco Bell is from Mexico.
Right.
Taco Bell's always making up food. I used to work at Taco Bell when I was little.
Yeah. When you're under 5 feet.
And, I thought their Mexican food was real Mexican food, like the enchilada.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember going to real Mexican restaurants and, say, hey, can I order an enchilada? Because I really like that.
And the puzzled look the waiter would give you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's beans in a corn tortilla with red sauce with 3 little olive slices on top of it in a little bowl.
That's funny. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, enchilada. I guess it's a cross between an enchilada and an enchilada.
Yeah.
But, so Titos Tacos, you might want to go there once just to say you've been there, but...
yeah, it's not bad. I mean, when you're raised on the culinary spectrum of Mexican food that Joe and I have, Titos Tacos kind of hit you a little bit below the standard line, but it's pretty good still, and obviously worth the trip. Yeah,
it's not at the bottom. We're talking Taco Bell at the bottom, Del Taco one level above, and then Tacos.
Yeah.
All right.
Your story about that enchilada reminded me of... I'd never had, what's that burrito that they fry, the chimichanga? I never had a chimichanga until like later in life. I think I was in my 30s. And I finally had one for the first time. And I'm like, it's just a fried burrito, man. What's up with that? I was so disillusioned.
Yeah, that's something Taco Bell made up, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Frying the burritos in the same fryer that they fry the taco shells in.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember working there. They'd constantly be making up food like, do you remember the Mexican pizza?
Oh, yeah. That was a pretty simple idea.
I liked it. And they had the Taco Light. Do you remember that?
I don't remember
Oh, the Taco Light was a taco, but instead of it being in a corn tortilla, it was in a flour tortilla.
Oh, my God. What were they thinking? Lighter in the calories? Not so much.
I don't know, but they would deep fry the flour tortilla
and
shape it like a corn tortilla shell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
What's funny, you called it a taco light, because when I go and order street tacos, I actually request for a diet taco. And usually they know. It just means 1 tortilla instead of 2 small corn tortillas. I'm watching my carbs. I'm on a diet taco. So yeah, typically that's what they do. They load you up with 2 tortillas and the meat on a typical taco, but a diet taco.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Try it.
Okay.
The next time you order.
I try to go protein style.
Oh, yeah. They're like, we don't have lettuce. No lettuce wraps here.
Well, wrap it in a tomato. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you got tomatoes there.
Yep.
Okay. Whose turn is it? I think it might be your turn to recommend one of your favorite places.
When I'm in Simi Valley, which is just west of the San Fernando Valley, there's a spot that always gets me. Love going there. It's owned by a proprietor. And it's called Mission Burrito. Very standard name. There's probably a million Mission Burritos all over the city, but the one in Simi Valley is a standout as well. I always order a couple of favorites. The chicken tacos, the crispy shell ones are amazing. Their salsa is to die for. I always try to get a container to take with me because I, eat it up and the chips with it. But one of the other things I do like eating there is a carne asada burrito with yellow sauce on top. And man, that's a winner. Really amazing combination.
I've never had yellow sauce in a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, they always have it on standby. They have both red and yellow. Typically, some restaurants always bathe the food in like red sauce, but the yellow sauce is good. They put bell peppers, onions into the sauce, and it's very tasty. And I usually order the number 22 carne asada and bean burrito dinner, and that's a great combination with guacamole and pico de gallo.
They're going to name that one after you.
I've been requesting that one for so long. They should be calling it by my name. But yeah, that puts me in a food coma every single time. And, I recommend that.
There's a couple that maybe whether you're a longtime resident or you're a new tourist to Los Angeles, you're probably going to head down to Olvera Street. And Olvera Street has a lot of small restaurants there, and they're all, not bad, very, very authentic. A couple really popular ones is Siete Lindos, which is a taquito stand at the very northern end of Olvera Street. Yeah. You might check it out. Very popular. But if you want to sit down, that one's more like a little. I think they do have a little sit down place, but usually it's pretty packed. And they have some really nice restaurants, a couple nice restaurants inside. I can't remember the name of the nice one, but you can't miss it. It's the nicest looking one. And its claim to fame is that the wall that makes up a portion of the restaurant is the oldest standing wall in the city of Los Angeles. Yeah. I think it's something like 1830s or 1850s or 60s, something like that. Mm-hmm.
So, mud thatch kind of material construction?
Something like that. Yeah. I don't know. There's a sign says it's the oldest wall. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Olvera Street's probably the oldest street in the city of LA, so it actually wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I remember walking through there and being drawn in by the distinction of that little signage that talked about the old wall, and the restaurant looked a little different than the street style vendors that were there.
Yeah, and the food's pretty good. It is a touristy area, so you'll pay a bit more for the food.
Yeah, but you can't go wrong going through Olvera Street because it's a iconic spot, and you get a lot of bang for your visual buck. Walking through there's so much more to see and eat and enjoy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another place I would recommend if you're in the Hollywood area, I've discovered this really great food truck, and it's actually in a gas station on the corner of Santa Monica and Vine on the northwest corner. And it's there almost religiously every single night shortly after 5. It's a green truck. I don't know their name, but it's very distinctive. Boy, they have incredible food there, and it's one of my favorite little spots. The convenient thing is for a street vendor, they have tables and chairs. They have an awning to protect you from the evening air or any particular,
rain
or something like that.
Snow.
Right. The occasional blizzard that we get here. They also have the ability to take a credit card payment through their little Apple Square, which is really convenient because a lot of people don't always walk around with surplus cash. Really good tacos. One of my favorite tacos that I've had there, although all the different meats are really good. They have amazing pastor, which is a marinated steak. Also cabeza, which is cow head, not brains, but cow head. One of my other favorites is tripas, which are intestines. And I always request the tripas to be extra crispy. And they do them really, really crispy. And they serve those up in a taco. And man, I can't describe to you the level of, dopamine that's released into my mind. And I'm so in love with those tacos. I'll go through a week of not having them. And then I'm like obsessed about that. Like I got to find a reason to go back that way to stop and get one on the way home. On the way home, I'll stop off on the freeway and drive it there.
Right. Say, freeway's a little too crowded today.
Yeah, I better take a 5-minute break. Yeah.
Nice. Hollywood, and Santa Monica?
Santa Monica and Vine.
And Vine. Yeah, right there in the heart of Hollywood.
Yeah, right in a gas station's parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can make it a twofer. Get some gas for, your typical pricing and get a taco.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
and then pass some gas afterwards.
That will get you all the way home.
All right. Well, that was in Hollywood, and it sparked up my mind of a restaurant in North Hollywood called Salsa and Beer. This one is a really good traditional restaurant. I don't know what I don't know what traditional Mexican food really is, but when Mexican restaurants get really large and big, they tend to have a certain
standardized
like fajitas, right? You're not going to get fajitas in Boyle Heights or off of a taco truck or a small restaurant. But the bigger ones, like Salsa and Beer, you can get some shrimp fajitas served to you on a sizzling skillet.
Yeah.
Super hot and, with guacamole on the side and your corn tortillas and a bunch of grilled vegetables to make your own little tacos. So Salsa and Beer, good place. You just can't go wrong there. Everything's good, and they got a big bar as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it's a full bar where they can make you anything. That depends on the quality of the bartender, but definitely more than just beer in a bottle. You get your draft beer and, your special margaritas and whatever else you want that's popular.
Yeah, one of the things that you have to be aware is that place is so popular and there's so many people going there that you have to plan a good 30-minute wait. Typically, parking's not a big deal, but there's always, people that are there waiting for the table, and they always come in crowds. So, yeah, anticipate a wait.
Yeah, so true. Every time I drive by, there is a line going out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pack a lunch for the wait, like an apple or something to keep you occupied, because the aroma of the garlic and the food and the beans, it's going to kill you if you're standing there waiting.
Yeah. If you don't mind eating at the bar, that's not too bad. It's actually kind of popular for the locals just to kind of hang out and meet the opposite sex as well.
Yeah. That's true. I've been there. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So have we covered just about all the restaurants, or do we want to add one more before we go on to the next segment of the show?
I think I'm done on my list. I don't have anyone else.
Okay. Oh, I just got a quick mention for Al and B's. They're on the corner or on First Street, just east of the 5 freeway, also in the Boyle Heights area. It's kind of a taco standish kind of place, but really old school. We're talking maybe 60 years old. I guess Al and B are the owners of the restaurant, literally serving out of their home once again, and they've passed away as well. And I think their next of kin have taken up on the place. It's predominantly a lunch place. I don't know if they're open for dinner. Never been in that area that late at night. But for lunchtime, very quick service, really good beans in their burritos and tacos and all that. Yeah. So good place you see there all the time. One thing you got to be aware is gaining some weight. Every time I go to Al & B's, I'd invariably gain a couple pounds by the end of the week.
Yeah.
All right. So those are our favorite places that we enjoy for Mexican food. If you got some favorite places you'd like to mention, send us an email. Put us a comment there on YouTube or on our webpage at tantalizingla.com. All right, so let's get into the next segment of our show that we call Trivial LA.
Okay, I'm ready.
And what this is a little piece of trivia that someone who's a longtime resident or a native of Los Angeles should know. Okay, so we're going to take turns every week, and this week is my turn to ask Jay a question. He has no idea what I'm going to ask him. But I think this one's a bit of a softball. Okay.
False. Okay.
Jay's really nervous here. Okay.
I hate the pressure.
Here's my bit of trivia. What is the longest street in all of Los Angeles? And Jay's got a puzzled look on his face.
And it starts with an S.
I think he's got it.
It would be Sepulveda Boulevard.
Sepulveda Boulevard. There
Yay!
you go.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Very good, very good. Now, I should have looked up the facts on Sepulveda Boulevard, but just from what I remember, it's about 60 miles long, if you could believe it.
Yeah.
All the way from, I think, San Pedro, all the way up to Mission Hills in the San Fernando Valley. So I've never traversed the entire length of Sepulveda Boulevard, but I've probably been all through from the northern end, from Mission Hill, through the whole valley, over the Sepulveda Pass, down through the west side there, West LA, to LAX. And then, what is it, Westchester? That area.
Yeah.
And then I think my car ran out of gas.
I don't know if it goes any further past El Segundo. I think it might terminate around there.
Does it?
I'm not 100%, but I think that might be the furthest south it goes.
Okay. Well, it says 60 miles, so it probably goes a bit further.
Maybe
my
you're right.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I have all these great memories of Sepulveda. Like, there's all these cool things that were on Sepulveda as I was growing up. Sepulveda was like the biggest boulevard in my, youth. El Presidente, the restaurant at the top of the 405 in Sepulveda, that was like a cool hotspot on the corner. Yeah. The cemetery was up there on Sepulveda. The San Fernando Mission.
Oh, yeah. And then there's a Jewish cemetery across the street.
Right, as well. Yeah.
Eden or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then if you were to take the Sepulveda bus line all the way to Sherman Oaks, the Galleria was over there.
Yeah.
Sepulveda.
Sounds like we took the same bus line.
Yeah. I know, the Valley Galleria was amazing.
Yeah. So when I think of Sepulveda Boulevard, I think of the 8-Ball.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think we put a few people through school at that place.
When I remember there was a bus driver. He was a comedian, and he was always talking to the girls. It didn't matter. He got a pretty girl. He was just a comedian. And every time he would drive by the 8-Ball, by the way, which is like a topless dancing, or maybe bottomless dancing, nude dancing place.
High quality, topless and bottomless place.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was better than your average place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this bus driver, he'd be the girl was always standing next to the bus driver, by where you put your money in, okay?
Yeah.
And as he would drive by the 8-Ball, this was always his little gimmick, right? Okay, and I saw him do it like dozens of times, right? I know, here he goes again, right? As he's pulling by the 8-Ball, he would stop the bus, open the doors, and say, "Here's your exit, miss." And of course, she'd laugh, and guys who hadn't heard that stick before would chuckle.
Yeah. That's funny. Nothing like an old dad recycling the same joke 25 million times.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
Bus driver with a sense of humor. That's what we like.
Yeah.
I actually used to take that bus line a lot. I had a job when I was in high school, cold calling people. It's called Interviewing Service of America. And it was off there by Beep's Sherman Way and Woodley.
Oh, wow.
And we get off at 10 o'clock. I was still in high school, and I think the last bus would leave at 10:30, and me and my buddies would have to do like a 3-mile run.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're not sleeping in your bed.
On time.
Oh,
yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't think this would be reminiscing on Sepulveda Boulevard,
Yeah, but it just turned out that way.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. That was a good one. I'm glad I got it because the stress was crazy. But
oh, well, you're one for one.
Yeah. So far, so good. Next week, it'll be my turn.
Yes. All right. Well, let's take a look at the time here. About 30 minutes or so into the show. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss or bring up this week before we call it a day?
I've got this really weird rash. Oh, wait. That's for a different podcast. Okay. We'll save it.
All right, then. Well, I'd say that wraps it up for this week's episode. We'll see you back next week right here at the Los Angeles Podcast.
See you next time, guys.